Kia ora. It's Friday, 12:30, and that means that the crew at Frog Recruitment are getting together to go live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn to talk about all things jobs, employment in New Zealand. Hi there, my name is Mark Smith. I'm Group Managing Director of Frog Recruitment in New Zealand and People to People in Australia. So thanks for joining us here again on Friday, despite all the lockdowns and everything that's going down. A shout out to Jacob, who's the man behind the scenes here in Auckland, Mount Wellington. That's where he lives, just so you know. Actually, before we move on, Jacob actually has been taking some pictures of downtown Auckland during the lockdown. Do you have those? Do you want to pop those up for us, Jacob? There you go. It's pretty quiet. And I think you've got another one. Yeah, that's down near the office. No one around. I did notice, though, that and we'll do this we'll have a bit of a chat about some numbers in a second, but the actual credit card spend by New Zealanders at the moment has dropped, but dropped nowhere near what happened in the previous lockdown last year. So spending habits, I don't know what people are obviously out there buying shoes online or something like that. And yes, Mando, I can see your comment there, and it is eerily familiar. And if we can see your comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, and on YouTube. So if you have those, please pop them up and we can respond to them straight away. But what are we going to do today? We'll go through our regular numbers section. Got some interesting take on growth and some lead indicators from the ANZ this week. Then we'll be crossing to VJ in Auckland, who's got multiple roles to talk to us about. So despite lockdown, there's a whole bunch of work or jobs that we want to fill in Auckland. Then we'll go to Frogs in the News with Shannon Barlow, the MD in New Zealand, where she's got some an update on what's happening in NZ Top Dog. And we've got a video there as well. And finally, we'll review last week's Twitter poll, which was really interesting to see, how many dogs should be in the office. So stay tuned for that one as well. Okay, so let's get into it. As I said, we can see all of your comments. Let's get into the numbers. And so I've got some interesting data here. This is courtesy of Sharon, who's the chief economist. I'm pronouncing her last name incorrectly, so I'll have to get that. But I'll put a link now. Actually, Jacob, if you could pop that into the comments to her Twitter feed, which is she's the chief economist at ANZ in New Zealand, and she's also a fiend at karaoke and loves to hold a microphone, apparently. So Sharon Zollner. I always pronounce her name or get her name incorrect. But what are we looking at here? This is the lead indicators for July, August in New Zealand. So July, August pre-lockdown, and August post-lockdown. So July is the dark column. August pre-lockdown is the light blue column. And the August post-lockdown is the sort of yellowish color that we've got there. So you can see basically what this tells us is, yes, the lockdowns are having an effect, but we're actually holding up quite well in New Zealand during this lockdown. So you can see that things are on the rise for capital utilization. So capacity utilization then drop back. Export intentions, there or thereabouts. Investment intentions, still holding quite high. The important one for us here at Frog, and for those job seekers out there, employment, it's off, and we've certainly felt that, particularly, say, with some of our clients in retail and the like, but it's not crashed as much as we experienced last year. Profits are okay. That's the expectation, the own activity, and the big one there I thought was really interesting, and I don't have an answer to this, so I might just flick a message to Sharon on Twitter, and you should do the same, is business confidence pre-lockdown was in the negative, as was and it's only changed. It's actually gotten a little bit better post-lockdown. I thought that was a bit weird. So I'm not entirely sure what that actually means. Let's move to the next graph then, which is the GDP growth in New Zealand. So New Zealand produces these numbers every quarter. So the number that we're looking at here is the March quarter GDP growth. So you can see the 4 quarters last year, negative 1.4 in the March quarter, negative 12.2 in the June, the rebound, and then a negative December quarter, and then we've a growth of 1.6. Now, the reason I wanted to show this today for 2 reasons. One is I wanted to talk briefly about the link between GDP growth and unemployment. So I see these numbers about growth. What does that really mean for me when I'm actually out trying to get a job? What does that mean? So I wanted to show you what the history has been. So very up and down in the last year or so, as we'd expect. Yeah. But also the numbers for the June quarter come out, I think, on the 19th of September for New Zealand. So we'll keep an eye on it. So what is the correlation? And here's the next one. Here's the next graph I wanted to show you. And look, this is a bit nerdy, so please bear with me here a little bit. Okun's law. Now, this is it was put to this came about. It's a little in the 1960s from an economist at Yale, basically. And what it does, it looks at the statistical relationship between a country's unemployment rate and its economic growth rates. So you can see the different scales here with Okun's law. Let me just make sure I read them out correctly here for you. So you've got the from left to right, the change in unemployment rate, and the vertical scale is the output growth or the GDP growth, yeah? And to summarize what this actually means is that Okun's law says that a country's gross domestic product must grow at about a 4% rate for a year to achieve a 1% reduction in unemployment. So you can see that the reduction in unemployment of 1% is around 4% of GDP growth, according to Okun's law. So if we can so that's quite interesting. So whenever you see these, when you see the growth numbers come, it's interesting for me because I'm a nerd. But it's if you see those growth numbers come out in New Zealand in the next couple of weeks in terms of the jobs market, what does it really mean? Well, there's going to be if it's in the vicinity of a 1% or more, we're going to see unemployment drop, because 1% in a quarter times 4 quarters, 4%, then we should see that drop. So let's quickly go back to the graph, Jacob, that we had before. So you can see that New Zealand historically, or at least since 2018, there's only been a couple of quarters besides the rebound out of the COVID pandemic or the recession last year, where that number has been more than 1%. So anyway, something to look out for in the next week or so, and we'll bring it to you here on Frogs on Friday with the growth rate that once it gets released. So that's it for the numbers section. Let's move on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to now let me just make sure we're going to cross to VJ first. Yeah. So let's go to VJ in Auckland, where we'll talk about the jobs that he's got. He's got multiple jobs. G'day, VJ.
Kia ora, Mark.
Tell me about this hat, mate. What's going on here?
Well, it's lockdown. What can I say? First of all, they said it wouldn't happen. Too much power. Mark Smith, VJ Lord, Facebook Live, Frogs on Friday. Call my mother and tell her I made it, because here we are. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. But that's right. I'm wearing a hat. It's lockdown, and I haven't had a haircut yet, so we've got to get on with it.
Yeah, fantastic. Rightio. Well, let's talk firstly, before we get into the job, all the jobs that you've got. Let's talk about the market in Auckland. How would you describe it to everybody? What's happening if you're looking for a temp or contract job in Auckland right now? What's the market like?
Look, I'll be straight with you, Mark. I can think of worse times and places right now to be locked down. I mean, the sun is shining, lambing season is finally upon us, spring flowers are in bloom, and the employment market is rife with opportunities. You know, we've been here before, we know what to do, and it's business as usual over this side of the ditch. We're just carrying on.
Yeah, so basically, there is still work out there. So people shouldn't be too, they shouldn't be too concerned. There's jobs even during the lockdown. Yeah. Definitely.
There's definitely quite a lot of jobs coming through. We are seeing a lot of confidence in the market, and obviously coming into Christmas, things are just looking good right now.
So tell me about so you've got a whole bunch of vacancies, hey? Like there's 36, is that right? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I have come on here to plug a job, obviously. I'm currently recruiting high levels of call centre staff, and that's 36 roles. So this is for a New Zealand-owned freight forwarding logistics company. They're based out in East Tamaki, and they need assistance over their busy periods. So we're looking now till about January. So we do need experienced call centre customer care staff who are, comfortable dealing with that high-volume call centre environment, and we do need 36 people. Ideally, they're going to be in Auckland, but we can also look at people in Wellington. And we're paying $22 an hour plus 8% holiday pay on top of that.
And so let me get this right. So it's not on site as such. It's at home to start off with, yeah? But it will be on site later, yeah?
Definitely. So obviously, while it's lockdown, we're just carrying on. So people will be starting from home. All of the tools of trade will be provided. So you just start from home. Training will happen. The job will start. And obviously, as we move down into the lower levels, we're talking about level 2, level 1, people will slowly start integrating back into the office.
Now, we've got a comment on Facebook here. Taylor says, what's the start date for this job? Is it ASAP or is it wait until level 3?
No, good question. We will be starting now. So officially, it's going to be the 13th of September, so about a week from now. And if you're interested or anyone is interested, my man Jacob behind the scenes will be putting my contact information and the link below. So get at me. I'd love to have a conversation about it.
Yeah, so Jacob, if you could make sure you pop the link to the actual job in the comments there. And if people wanted to get in touch with you, give you a call, what's the best number to get you on?
Yeah, definitely give me a call. You can get me on 09 362 0781, or alternatively, just give me a text or a call on my mobile. That's 022 549 4019.
Great, fantastic. And I can see that Jacob's just popped that link up on in the comments there as well. Fantastic. All right. Well, great to see you, VJ.
No, thank you for having me, Mark.
On Friday. So I hope this doesn't lead to like a different hat every time we see you on Frogs on Friday.
I've got a few, mate. I'll tell you that.
I'm leading you down a little bit of a path there, probably. All right. Okay. Good to see you. Thanks for that. So we're going to cross to Shannon Barlow, who's the MD of New Zealand. But before we do that, we've got a video with the winner of last year's NZ or New Zealand Top Dog or Top Office Dog. Do you want to roll that for us? Thanks, Jacob.
I'm Amanda Fraser-Jones and this is Jagger. So Jagger is turning 10 next month and he is a pit bull mastiff. He's an ex-rescue dog. Jagger is different from any other dog because the work that he does with rescues that come in our house, our foster dogs, and just his ability to show them that it's all okay. Humans don't speak dog. Dogs speak dog better than anybody, and just the way he is with dogs is incredible. Dogs are amazing for mental health. They teach you to live in the moment. We all spend our times overthinking, worrying, thinking about what's happening in the future, worrying about the past. And dogs teach us to just live in the moment and have fun and just be a part of life right now, be present in life. I felt really good winning the competition last year. I absolutely did not expect it. The calibre of people who had entered was amazing in dogs. So not for a moment did I expect to get anywhere, really. It's really nice to have a dog that does such amazing stuff for our rescues. So to have him get recognition for that was really awesome. I think Jagger's probably ready to give the crown to a new winner. However, he would really like to keep his cup because it makes a really good dinner bowl.
Very cool. I just love the fact that Jagger uses the trophy as his dinner bowl. That's magic. All right, let's go to Frogs in the News, and we're going to have a quick chat to Shannon Barlow, who's the managing director of Frog Recruitment. Hi, Shannon. How are you?
Very good. As VJ said, it's a very sunshiny day here today, which lifts the spirits. I just see a comment on there that saying that Shannon should wear a hat too. So I hope Dean's not grey shaming me. I haven't quite made it to the supermarket to get that hair dye. So
yeah, I just hope it doesn't. This doesn't escalate into some sort of hat fashion show every Friday. That could be a disaster. Righto. So let's talk about Frog in the news. So the big thing that's happening right now in September is NZ Top Dog. So we've had a bit of coverage for that.
Yes, so I was very pleased to get the call up to talk on Radio New Zealand earlier this week. And it's just ideal timing with lockdowns across the country as well. So we all know that the benefits of having a dog around, and the research that we've found with dogs in the office, even the home office, are able to improve morale. We see people decreased levels of absenteeism, so it gives them motivation to come into the office, and it's just a good way of lifting your spirits and adding a bit of fun. Although I've got my dog Bo in the background here, I thought it'd be good to feature her, but I've obviously coincided with nap time, so she's not too excited.
Yeah, she doesn't look. Yeah, she's going, God, is she talking about me again? Like, seriously, like, not exactly running. Although it's a good thing she's not running around and barking, because I know what Bo's like. When she gets active, she gets very active. Yeah, good. All right. So, and how are the nominations going, or the number of entries for NZ Top Dog?
Yeah, fantastic. So we had a really quick response this year around. And again, I think that the lockdown and people being more aware of the campaign and really wanting to showcase their own dogs and to show the impact that they have on their lives and their workplace. So we had over 50 entries in the first couple of days, and it's really great to see coverage across the whole nation. So the South Island in particular, we had entries from Christchurch, Timaru, as well as Blenheim in the first night of entry. So that was great to see. We're now sitting at over 120 plus entries for the competition. With 2 weeks to go, we're looking on track to hit that target of 400 plus entries.
Wow. So, yeah, it's hot competition. So it'll be very interesting to see who gets Jagger's drinking bowl for this year, I suppose. Excellent. All right. And if somebody wants to enter, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, so we're on a number of different channels. The easiest thing to do is probably to search the hashtag NZ Top Dog, and you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, as well as LinkedIn. Otherwise, go to our website, frogrecruitment.co.nz, and there's a dedicated page there for the competition.
Yeah, fantastic. All right. Well, great to see you again, Shannon, even if you don't have a hat on. So thanks for joining us, Frogs on Friday. So now we'll go to our regular Twitter poll. So last week we asked the question, how many dogs, if you're going to have a dog in an office, how many dogs should you have in an office? And I was pretty stunned that New Zealand, it is the Twitterverse, mind you. So we had a few hundred people voting on Twitter for this. But it turns out that we're either going to have a pack of animals in the middle of the office or none at all. There's only about 10% of people wanted one, maybe two. But otherwise, let's go the whole hog and have 40% of Kiwis want to have 3+ dogs in the office. I don't know about that smell. I don't know where that's going to go or what's going to happen there. But it's more than the number of people who didn't want any dogs in the office. So yeah, very cool, interesting result. So let's go to this week. So we're going to change tack again on this particular poll for this week. What we're going to do is we're going to ask you: do you answer your phone when someone calls? Now, the reason we're asking this, we've got a comment here from Amanda saying, "Does anyone own a cat anymore?" Yeah, a couple of people do, I'm pretty sure, but they just don't win NZ Top Dog. Do you answer your phone when someone calls? Now, the reason we're asking this is because when we've got these 36 vacancies, for example, in Auckland right now, and a lot of people aren't answering the phone. So we thought this is a good Twitter poll. Do you answer the phone when someone calls? Yes. Or only when it's friends or family, or only when it's a scheduled call? No, I prefer to message right now. Vote online. Let's see what that looks like for next week, and we'll share the results with you. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the broadcast. So thanks for joining us once again for Frogs on Friday. We will do it all again next week, same time, 12:30, and we'll catch you then. Have a great week.